Leader, House Democrats spent last week trying to force votes to release records related to Jeffrey Epstein, and you have said that you support that movement. Why are Democrats just looking at this and pushing for this right now and not really during the Biden administration?
I support transparency in terms of the American people. The far right, Donald Trump, right-wing conspiracy theorists and others are the ones who have put this Jeffrey Epstein thing in the public domain. Let's be clear about that. No one looking at the facts disputes that. This isn't anything that any of us as House Democrats have been focused on, ever.
What is he talking about? The House Democrats have not been focused on this, ever. Man, Hakeem Jeffries is probably going to be a really good minority leader because he ain't got no pull to do nothing, and that's perfectly where he need to be. Can you believe that shit? They have never public. It's kind of weird that it wasn't released during Biden's term, and the thing about it is, this is politics at its purest right now. If it was something in them Epstein files that completely made Trump look bad, child molestation, days and weeks on the island over there in the Jeffrey Island, all that shit, things that just pointed at Trump and just was like, yeah, he was doing some bad shit. Just can't deny it. You know what? The damn Democrats would know it. They would know it because Biden was just over the Justice Department. They had access to whatever it is that Trump's Justice Department has access to. And nothing's changed. So why weren't these documents released then? Because it wasn't nothing that sensational in them. Because had there been, you could have beat him in that election. Why would you wait 8 months into his term and start pounding the desk? Because you're running out of stuff to do. The Democrats have run out of stuff to do. And now this Epstein thing, and they're bringing up that Bondi saying, yeah, it's on my desk and it's ready to go. They should release it. They really should release the shit. But Biden's folks should have released it, which is the only reason why I don't think it's such of a big deal right now, is that both teams know what's in it. The only team that don't know is the public. The people putting these folks in office. The people who are supposed to be running the country, the democracy. But the Democrats had jurisdiction over that Justice Department, and now the Republicans do. And under both parties, it didn't come out. Maybe they both got bad looking folks who are in key positions, and they both hiding things in that way. And when one get in office, the other one can say, release it, and make them look bad. And then when they get back in office, why don't you release it? Well, because they both probably got all kind of shit going on. Congressmen, celebrities, friends, family, who knows? But isn't it strange that they were in power and didn't release it? And they asked him, and I don't know what he just said. We're going to go resume the video, and hopefully he can start making sense about this, because that shit he just said didn't make no sense, and it was a lie. And the Democrats never, ever, come on, man. That's why Hakeem Jeffries, why take a position like that? If you can't do nothing for your people, if you can't holler out for black people, you up there talking about some shit that don't matter. Jeffrey Epstein is a National Enquirer type story. If you like some people, you're going to back them up no matter what. Some people won't admit that until the truth comes out. Once the evidence comes out and you find that you still have a warm place in your heart and that story didn't change it. Look at all the stuff Donald Trump has done since he's been in the public spotlight. And he just got elected in the office. That's what I'm saying. He's looked at, according to the Democrats, and their impeachments and their investigations and all these things that he's been through, and he still win the White House. If I was the Democrats, I'd be like, damn, what do you do? So now it's kind of like a reverse psychology trickery going on because you just recently had access to all that stuff and didn't release it. And you guys know what's in it. Why ain't nothing leaked? There ain't been no leaks. We've heard rumors. We've heard all kind of little stuff. They got some of the girls who it just doesn't have the same impact. These girls were being sex trafficked and done badly by Jeffrey Epstein. When he committed suicide, and I think it's kind of a dark spot for all of us citizens in the country because we don't know really about Epstein except what they've told us, highlights and headlines. But where's the deep truth? The deep truth to how he started, where he got his money, who he was affiliated with financially. You don't just make that kind of money only sex trafficking. You know, they try to make most sex traffickers look that way. But when you're sex trafficking to the rich and famous, how did you make your money? How did you become so trusted that they're willing to expose that part of them to their part of themselves to you? The Jeffrey Epstein thing is deep. Was he really the mastermind behind it? Was he just like a what do you call this concierge person who just kind of is facilitating things, but as a employee and not as really the man? I mean, what really? And then he just gets taken out, and they're definitely saying it was a suicide. Somebody can basically, when they're in prison, tell us and anybody else that that cell is like a secured and off limit area for anybody who they want it to be. They could say he hung himself. I've never seen Jeffrey Epstein dead. I don't know how he died. I don't know if he really committed suicide or if someone murdered him. But someone does know the truth, and somebody does know that it's very strange for all of this stuff to break out, and Jeffrey Epstein, who should have been on some kind of suicidal watch and some regular monitoring, and nowadays aren't most jail cells and holding areas videotaped? Don't they have cameras? And especially in an area with a inmate like Jeffrey Epstein, you think they'd have fucking cameras all over the place. But they didn't. They had cameras outside the cell, but none pointed directly at him. It's a fucking empty box. Put one camera up there that films the whole area and put it up so high he can't reach it. And if he murdered himself, at some point that will be declassified and released to the public with a disclaimer. And everybody will be able to see, yeah, he did. Yeah, when Epstein killed himself, boom, 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 we got it. But we are only echoing words that were given to us by somebody else about something that don't even really matter. When Hakeem Jeffries get up there and speak on this as a distraction, when he is privy to the truth, he know what's up. And he gonna get up there and lie to us like this. That's why I can't support him, and I can't support what they trying to do with us. Make us vote for them so they can get back in power and do what? Not release the they ain't coming out and saying they're gonna release them either. They being very damn careful. They're gonna press Trump to release it, and if he don't, he ain't release his own damn tax records. What make you think he gonna release? He ain't releasing it. He gonna hang on in there, and the fringe folks who fall off will not be missed. What are they gonna do? Reelect him? He already know he ain't running again. He doing a last final lap, and none of that shit matter. And a lot of people think they can harm him and fall off the wagon. And you done rolled with this dude for damn near 10 years. Now you about to jump off the wagon on his last final lap. Who does that? You ever see everybody support a basketball player his whole career, and then his final, when he coming around to the stadiums and making his last go around and saying goodbye, and then people be boo, boo, boo. You booed him his whole career. This is his final lap now. You've supported that. You've enabled all that. And now you want to jump off at the end. I tell you, both sides are so terrible, man. This is a fascinating thing, this American politics. But the people really do have the power, but they keep being tricked. The people who get treated well in this country and vote are being tricked. But the people at the bottom, the people who don't have nothing and nothing to show for, and they have a vote too, and they keep giving it away, it's embarrassing. We gotta get better educated on our politics, and get rid of people like Hakeem Jeffries, who's in there for nothing. What is he in there for? He's a fucking plant. Why would he be there? Does he remind you of anybody you fucking grew up with? He's a weirdo. And this dude shouldn't be up there doing that shit. They asked him a direct question. That sounds like the opposite of some shit Trump would do. Trump would do the exact same thing and waste the same amount of time if he don't just directly go right back at him and say, who are you and who do you work for, and just disintegrate them. But that's better than denigrate them. But that's better than what this dude is doing. Getting up there and blah, 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 and on, and everybody's supposed to believe that. I'm not impressed with Hakeem Jeffries one bit. Him and Cory Booker being high-profile black men, and all they do is waste time. Every time they get in front of a mic, they're just up there so that they can go with that damn technique that's worked for so damn long. Put a black face up there and let him say it to us so that we can be like under some kind of spell and follow him. And that's the only use they have for him. They never sit him down. He's the leader. And they never sit him down and say, Hakeem, do you have any agenda, of your own? What is that you'd like to see? All black politicians, their agenda should be their people. Unless they have different math than we got, their agenda should be us. That should be on their plate. And if you ask a lot of black politicians, and probably the majority of them, what their agenda items are in this country, top 5 for most of them. I bet none of them would even think of us because they have slid us off the plate. And we refuse to stand up and demand that they put us back on that shit. Put us back on the list. And start looking publicly like you're fighting for us so the rest of the country don't think that our shit is done. They think our fight is done. It ain't.
Of trying to fan the flames of what may or may not happen. But once it has broken into the public domain, and there's a clear desire on behalf of the American people to get more information, then the right thing to do is to present the facts and the evidence to the American people so that they can make an informed decision about what may or may not have happened and who may or may not be implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein matter.
You know who may or may not be. It's obvious now. I'm going to tell you, at first I thought Trump was about to really drop the bomb on him and let him build up all this hype and then, nah. Both sides have thoroughly had moments alone with that paperwork. I mean, that is kind of hard to explain when neither side is willing to. They must both have some heavy hitters on that list or in that documentation. And it's unfortunate because if there was child molestation going on, or if there was just some kind of a prostitution island with women above the age of 18, that still is something that needs to be talked about. And you can be sex trafficked above the age of 18. Just because you're above age 18 don't make this shit legal. But we need to find out what kind of men are running our businesses in this country. What kind of men have all this access and all this power and are politically connected or in politics. And this is what they use their clout for. This is what they use their power for. To go back and lay back and feel like they've arrived. They're there. And the rest of us are just tools, votes, or whatever hell else they look at us as. We got to be able to make them accountable. and the Democrats and the Republicans let him get out of the position of power, the party that just left, and now they're whining and crying and screaming harder than they ever were. Both sides should be ashamed of themselves, and both sides should have a political price to pay for this, but they won't.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear about the situation here. Jeffrey Epstein was a friend of Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein was arrested during the Trump administration. Jeffrey Epstein
was a real close friend of Bill Clinton's. So let's get it all out there. Let's put hell, it's a possibility that folks we ain't even thought about are implicated here. And he's as guilty as smearing and covering it up as they are. Right now, Trump them should just say, fuck it. I mean, and the only thing I can say at this point is if it's somebody who's really, really close to Trump, he has adult kids, he got business associates. Hell, you just don't know. And I know I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you, it's something that needs to be looked at seriously about releasing that and showing us that we really live in a democracy. We do know that most Americans are not on that list, are not in that documentation. So we definitely want it out. We want to see. If any politician believes that the majority of Americans don't want to see it, they tripping. We want to see it. And everybody knows it. And we wanted to see it when Clinton almost called Biden Clinton, when Biden was in office. And Biden should have released the shit. What was going on? Especially because they knew what was in it, and they were running a campaign against a man who, the way things are looking now, was in it. And he might still be in it. But it's somebody else who's in it that offset that shit. And it's like, shit, no, we can't do it. Because our guy's in it too. Is that the only thing? Doesn't that make some kind of sense to you guys? Because why ain't this shit out?
was detained during the Trump administration. Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide during the Trump administration.
That's another thing that's very strange, is both sides agree that he committed suicide. They're not in conflict on that. They don't say allegedly or none of that shit. They're rock solid on that. And that's when I get real weird about them, because they try to show us how they're fighting and how they oppose each other. And then they're in lockstep when he committed suicide. That's strange. He was out of custody. He was out free on his own. He knew he was about to get scooped up and taken to trial and probably do some serious time, but not killing himself or running for it or whatever he could have done while he was free. It's just very strange that once he got in custody and a trial was set, he was about to have to spill his guts. Evidence was about to come out. Witnesses were about to come out. Victims were about to come out. And then he ends up dead. It just seems too convenient. And it might be exactly what we're looking at. And if it is, that's true. That's cool too, because we can see both sides of this using diversionary tactics, trying to blur the shit up and make it look like it's their fault. Well, why don't you guys just agree on the fact that we can just let it go, let it out, release it, and let everybody else see. But it's a little more to this, and I take that back. That's an understatement. It's a lot more to this than we all could ever imagine, and they need to release it. That's our government at work, man. What are we going to have to wait 12 to 18 years or longer before a president comes in when these people are dead and gone, and then release it and when it don't matter? This is a current matter. Actually, it's past the expiration date. It should be already released. Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019. Trump could have released it then. He didn't. Biden got in office. He could have released it. He had 4 full solid years. He didn't. I mean, what are we doing? Nobody wants that information out. We get it. That's why it's important that for the American public that it does come out. If the Department of Justice is a separate arm of the government, this is their time to stand up and prove it. Go against what Donald Trump wants you to do, and obviously go against what the Democrats would like you to do too. And just do it. Just do what you got to do. I don't think that's going to happen.
Trump administration officials have said prior to arriving in Washington in positions of prominence, including at the FBI and the Department of Justice, that they were going to release the Epstein Files. Trump administration officials are now in a position to release the Epstein Files. Does any of that, in your view, have anything to do with President Joe Biden? Why do we think President Joe Biden or President Barack Obama's names are being invoked? Because Donald Trump is running scared. And the Trump administration is running scared. What are they hiding from the American people? Release the files so that the American people can make a decision on their own. This has nothing to do with a Democratic-led conspiracy theory. And the facts and the chronology make that clear.
So that's crazy, though, that he said all that, and they had the exact same power to release this shit. They both don't want to release it, and they're fighting fair with each other. They both are using strong rhetoric and tough talk because they have made some kind of unwritten agreement that neither one is going to call out the other one. They're going to just let it, look like strong statements. Don't call them out on it. Let them say whatever he wants. Let them drop another diss track, and then the Republicans will drop one. That shit's getting old. At this point, we need to really, as a country, as people in this country, because some people are getting left behind and ignored and abused. And it's time that the people in the country whose votes are valuable need to get something for it, need to start breaking bread with us. The other thing that bothers me, troubles me so very much, is how, generally speaking, most black people, most of our folks don't really understand how politics work. And that's the majority of us. And it's because politics don't work for us. We get nothing from it. All we do is vote, and nobody wants to really speak out. We really feel like we're in the purest form voting for protection, not voting for something that's going to benefit us, something tangible, but for a basic right of protection. It's kind of like we picked a party that we know won't return us to slavery, and that's pretty much all we need to do is just vote for that. And as long as they can keep us free, that's what and it's not. That's not what it's for. Our vote is transactional, and it has to be for something. And we can't keep giving our vote to these people till now they don't even feel that they have to ask for it. They make us feel like we're all in this together. But then when the accolades are being handed out and everything is wonderful and the sun is shining, that's when we fall the farthest to the back. The Democratic Party brings us to the front when the times are the darkest and the hardest and the most difficult. Then they bring us out to the forefront to help in whatever fight is going on at that particular time. And when we got folks like Hakeem Jeffries as leaders, I don't see this party being led in the right direction. And especially for us, we got to find out a way to get some people in there who are going to deal with us. I wouldn't mind if the United States government was all white, because the way it's set up now, they only use other races and black folks for the most part to get their agenda through, and they're almost using them as buffers or some kind of damn interpreters. Hey, I don't know what you're gonna tell them, but it ain't gonna happen, bud. And then they gotta go figure it out, and then soften the blow and tell us, okay, we got the guy we voted for, but we ain't getting shit. But they don't say it like that. They say it nicely, so we feel like we did something good. Yeah, we didn't get that other guy. We got the good guy. Sorry, I guess the basic premise. You can reword it a million ways, but that's what it come down to. The Democrats are making us believe that no matter who runs on the other side, the guy in blue is our guy. That's the one. And I disagree. Like, comment, share, and please subscribe. And remember, you're not obligated to vote Democrat. That's an option. You have a choice. Register as an independent. Vote Republican or Democrat or independent or not at all. But make sure you have a reason for that. The vote seems to be the only reason they even ring our phone. If it wasn't for the vote, they wouldn't even call us. See you on the next Black Popcorn.